I think that that's what's going on. But again, these things leave very physical, real traces on the environment, and I don't think there's any reason to not suppose that they are in fact real and autonomous themselves.
Do you think they're all the same?
All
the same? I mean, are they all the same cause? Isn't there a possibility that some of them come from Mars or whatever?
Absolutely. I think that there's the possibility that these are coming from different sources.
I'm a certified hypnotist since '94, and I disagree with you 100% that you can use hypnosis to go back into memories and experiences that people suppress. And this would be something that people would suppress.
Yes.
But I also wanted to ask you if you're familiar with Billy Meyer.
Yes.
And I've followed him for the last 20 years, and he just fascinates me, the Pleiadians. And that's where I guess I find most of my interest, is finding other humans out there that have higher intelligence. And
there was a period of time when I thought that the Billy Meyer's experiences could be real as described by him. For those that aren't familiar, Billy Meyer is a modern contactee like those from the 50s and the 60s who claims contact with humanoid, space brother type extraterrestrials, interdimensionals. And personally, while I entertain possible explanations for what I perceived as hoax photographs, ultimately I did not find his story very credible. And I would not dismiss hypnosis as a tool outright. I just think that it's been far too relied upon, and I don't think it's been. I don't think that the parapsychological data has been taken into consideration when using it as a tool.
That you kind of said what I was going to ask about, because as you were talking about contaminated data from hypnosis, to me it sounded like you were saying in the hypnotic state one can gather information from sources that are not necessarily one's own life. And they are just as real to you as if they came from your own life, because you're perceiving them directly. And that, I think, would be the issue here, is that you're gathering this information from other sources than your own experience.
Yeah, the MIT paper that I was referencing by Brian Thompson, one of the things that he says is he shows in the parapsychological literature that there have been people who've used hypnosis as a way of training people to be psychic, and it does seem to strengthen a lot of psychic ability. And so I firmly believe that altered states of consciousness play an integral role in humans' ability to psychically grok information from afar. And so in that sense, it would seem to be a very powerful tool for that potentially.
Well, I also specialize in past life regressions, and I've done a lot of past life regressions. So you can definitely get into another reality.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
McKenna has some interesting passages about where he talks about the like the mushroom using the monkey brain and consciousness, you know, and I was thinking a wider application of that notion. Perhaps I'm wondering if there might be, you know, in the world of nature, various fairly mundane, you know, the psyches of animals or something, and if they somehow interact with the human mind on that level and are able to appropriate, you know, some of human intelligence to project themselves into the human experience, and they get things oddly twisted. Because so many of the aliens behave like, you know, slightly, well, more than slightly, autistic juvenile delinquents, or with a kind of sadistic sense of humor. Mm-hmm. Am I making any sense? I don't know.
one of the things I've often wondered about is if the idea of Earthlights is accurate, that there could be this luminous phenomena that has an electromagnetic aspect and interacts with human consciousness and can trigger these experiences. Well, could other species be interacting and having similar experiences? Like, well, these Earthlights phenomena probably occur in the water too, and there are tons of accounts of USOs, unidentified submarine objects. Well, what if a pod of dolphins interacted with that kind of a phenomena? Would they too experience an abduction-like experience? Now, maybe they or maybe we are just tuning into that morphic field, that informational field that we've created ourselves by all the things that we've done to other species. We abduct and tag and prod and probe any number of other species on this planet. Have we created a morphic field, an informational field that we're just tapping into ourselves, or would other species experience that? I don't know if that's what you were...
That's a close better articulation of something I was getting at. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
With the spread of these smartphones and all that, everybody's carrying all these things, nice cameras, and did this increase the number of recorded sightings?
One would think so, and that's a lot of skeptics use that as an argument against there being anything, because their response is, well, where are all the, why aren't we seeing more credible videos or hearing more credible audio? Of course, there's another group of people who, again, focusing on the electromagnetic aspect, point out that, well, we've significantly changed the electromagnetic environment on this planet. And if this phenomena is as integral, as intimately connected to electromagnetics as some think it is, then perhaps we're actually creating a situation where these phenomena won't manifest as much as they have in the past because of all this technology. The work of Michael Persinger and Paul Devereaux and others who've explored the electromagnetic field effects associated with UFOs and ghost sightings and apparitions. Some of them think that these technological advances are part of that. That in some cases they think that they're actually, in effect, allergic reactions to those electromagnetic fields. But again, I think there may be some truth to the idea that there may be less and less of this type of phenomena manifesting because of the electropollution, if you will. I mean, the prevalence of Wi-Fi, is growing. There's all kinds of little-known health effects or little understood health effects, associated with Wi-Fi and cellular phones and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, I would hope that there would be a lot more potential evidence for that. But what I see more and more is just more videos of things that either the video isn't very good, or it's clearly hoaxes. I would really like to see some footage that would stymie me, because usually I come away feeling like it's just not very good footage.
But you have to admit there is footage that does stymie you.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Speaking of footage, you mentioned a whole bunch of different names and stuff at the very beginning, and I don't really know too much about this whole topic, and I didn't bring anything to write with. So is this video going to be like on YouTube or something where I can, do my own research and stuff?
I hope so, yeah. Also, I may be able to put the PowerPoint up on the web and with links to all the sources. One of my aims, as I said, was...
I'd be glad if you do that.
Sure. One of the aims was to, give those names and those books that then can lead each of you, if you're interested, to explore those things yourself. And so I appreciate you asking for that.
And yeah, I was just going to say on that, we might go ahead. We should have a good audio. And I was thinking too, and we're need kind of officially in, but we might be able to go ahead and take some more questions for 10 or 15 minutes if folks do have them. But I did want to, in case folks have to leave, I wanted to thank Miles for an extremely fascinating and wide-ranging presentation. It's amazing to me. And I was just thinking, I need to listen to this about 2 or 3 more times to soak it all in. There's so much information. So we'll probably get the audio up, and hopefully, along with the PowerPoint, on the INACS website, on Miles' website, and maybe YouTube as well. But I wanted to just thank Miles for this presentation. And before we take additional questions, where's the sheet with the sign up? I just wanted to make sure. I know some people came in late. I would like to go ahead and have everyone sign up. If you haven't signed, could you raise your hand? And I think you brought it. And pass it back that way. Okay, a few more questions. Sure.
Comment or question. When we interviewed Rupert Sheldrake, he was talking about the potential of telepathically communicating with other civilizations, beings, whatever, on the other side of the universe. Mm-hmm. And he said just on an economic level, this made a lot more sense than spending all this money on technology and hardware just to explore our solar system. So when we were at the Monroe Institute, we met with a couple and interviewed them who are in communication with some people at the other end of the universe. And in the interview, they showed us what that was like, and they demonstrated it and allowed us to speak with them. And when I went through that experience, I thought, this sort of makes sense. And I didn't need a lot of scientific, hypothetical, theoretical understanding. I just thought, these people say they're at the other end of the universe. They're telling me what happened to them, and I'm understanding it. What's that?
I don't know. That's the thing. If you study paranormal phenomenon and channeling and automatic writing and divination, humans have always felt themselves to be in contact with alien others. And they constantly tell us different things as to where they're from or when they're from. So I take those kinds of things with a grain of salt because, how do you prove it? It may resonate with you and you may feel that it's the truth, and that's good enough for most people, and I'm not here to tell you otherwise. And it's, Rupert Sheldrake's actually where I was going with this, because I think there's a lot in his ideas about the hypothesis of formative causation and morphogenetic fields that go towards the potential for a communications channel that is beyond this idea of SETI, using radio waves. And again, Jacques Vallée and Jenny Randles, they've all basically said the same thing, that there seems to be within the parapsychological data the mechanism for communication with other consciousnesses and intelligences anywhere or anywhen. And that's what remote viewing and all these other psychic phenomena really do seem to imply and show. So my belief system breaks down, though, when somebody actually says that they're in communication with Venusians or people at the other end of the universe. I can't prove it's not true, and certainly that's what got me interested in all these things, was the desire and the hope to meet some sort of extraterrestrials, having grown up on Star Trek and Star Wars, But it's like, I don't know if I'll believe it until I'm able to sit down and have a drink with Greedo, and I won't shoot him, I promise. But I'm looking forward to hearing more about what Sheldrake had to say about that, because I think he, of all people, might be one to have some new ideas on that.